She noticed. She noticed the pause before you said good night. She noticed that you don't look her in the eyes like you used to. She noticed that your jokes are funnier with others, but not with her. She noticed how you smiled when her name popped up on your phone, and how you stopped doing that. You thought you were subtle. You thought you were in control of the story. But here's the truth. Women are not guessing. They're watching. She didn't confront you, not because she didn't see. She didn't say anything, not because she didn't feel it. She stayed quiet because she was giving you time to fix it. That silence, it wasn't peace, it was observation. Women are trained by life, by instinct, by necessity to read between words, not because they're manipulative, but because they have to be. They survive by sensing energy, by listening to tone, by feeling the temperature of a room without anyone needing to speak. It's not magic, it's memory, it's pattern recognition. She noticed the shift, the weight in your sigh, the way your I love you now feels like a reflex, not a revelation. You thought you hid it well, but you weren't hiding from a fool. You were hiding from someone who already knew the ending and was just waiting to see if you changed the story. And the worst part? She's not angry. She's just done pretending not to see. So when she finally stops caring, when she doesn't ask where you've been, when she doesn't reply with warmth, when she doesn't try to fix it anymore, it's not sudden. It's been happening in slow motion while you were busy being blind to your own transparency. Because the truth is simple. Women notice more than you think. They just don't always tell you when they do. You think silence is nothing, but for her, silence is storage. While you're brushing it off, while you're telling yourself she's overreacting or too sensitive or probably fine, she's collecting data, every glance, every tone shift, every second delay in your answers, not to use against you, but to build the answer to the one question she asks herself when she lays in bed, back turned away from you. Does he still care? And let's be honest, you feel it too. You know something's off. You sense the gap growing between you, but you don't address it because you think you still have time. You think her loyalty is infinite. You think love is a contract you sign once. You think effort is optional after attraction. But here's the mistake men make over and over again. You confuse her patience for blindness. You confuse her quiet endurance for weakness. You think because she's still next to you, she's still with you. She might still be physically present, but emotionally, she's already halfway out the door. And the irony is, you won't notice until she's gone. Because here's what men don't realize until it's too late. A woman doesn't leave when she's had enough. She leaves when she's empty. She leaves when she's poured every drop of her soul into someone who never once noticed she was drying out. She stayed during the cold responses. She stayed through the emotional distance. She stayed even when her presence felt more like a habit than a desire. And while she stayed, she studied. She remembered. She connected dots you didn't even know you were drawing. She knows you don't mean it when you say, "I'm just tired." She knows when your compliments sound rehearsed. She knows your enthusiasm isn't real anymore. She sees the way your eyes light up when you're texting someone else. She hears the half-second hesitation before you say nothing when she asks what you're thinking about. And she notices when you're no longer present, even when you're sitting right next to her. Because women are emotional historians. They don't just remember what you did. They remember how it felt. She'll remember the day you stopped listening. She'll remember when your touch felt like an obligation. She'll remember the night you rolled over instead of pulling her close. And when she finally walks away, you'll tell yourself she changed. But the truth? She didn't change. She just stopped pretending she didn't notice. This is why so many men are blindsided. She didn't yell. She didn't beg. She gave you all the time in the world to realize what you were losing. You just didn't notice her noticing. And when that happens, when she finally goes quiet, not out of anger but from exhaustion, that's when you'll feel it. Not regret, not pain. The haunting realization that you lost someone who saw everything and still gave you a chance. She never asked you to be rich. She never asked you to be perfect. She didn't need flowers every day, or expensive dinners, or dramatic declarations of love. She just needed your presence, not your body in the room, not your routine responses, not the lazy "I love you" sent as a placeholder. She needed your soul when you looked at her, your attention when she spoke, your curiosity, your warmth, your spark. She needed to feel like the moment she walked into the room, you noticed. And the moment she realized she didn't matter enough to shift your focus, she started leaving you quietly. Because presence is not about physical proximity, it's about emotional reality. And when you show up distracted, closed off, mentally somewhere else, you are teaching her that your attention belongs everywhere but her. And here's what most men don't understand. A woman doesn't beg for presence. She replaces absence. She'll stay patient for a while. She'll keep giving you chances to notice what you've stopped giving. But every day you scroll through your phone while she tells you about her day. Every time you answer, "I'm listening," without making eye contact. Every time you make her feel like she's interrupting something more important, you're silently teaching her that someone else, somewhere else, might actually see her. That someone else would stop what they're doing just to hear her laugh. That someone else would remember the small details that you forgot. That someone else would never make her feel like she was asking for too much just by wanting your attention. And one day, without warning, she won't want it anymore. Because once a woman stops desiring your presence, once she no longer lights up when you walk in the room, that's the day you lose her. Not when she blocks you, not when she packs her things, not when she slams the door. You lose her the moment she stops trying to be seen by you. And you'll feel it in the silence, in the absence of the little things she used to do, in the way her voice no longer softens when she says your name. At first it feels subtle, then it becomes permanent. Because women don't leave when they fall out of love. They leave when they realize they're loving someone who treats their heart like background noise. And in that moment, you'll look around and realize you were never the prize. You were the one lucky enough to be noticed by someone who sees everything and only asks to be seen in return. By the time you realize what she was holding together, she's already gone. By the time you start showing up, she's already stopped waiting. You'll open her messages and see no reply. You'll check her socials and see her smiling without you. You'll replay the moments you ignored, dismissed, minimized, and it'll hit you all at once. She noticed everything, and she gave you every chance to change it. That's the part that haunts you. Not that she left, but that she stayed longer than she should have, and you still didn't notice. Because while you were trying to seem composed, detached, in control, she was hoping for a glimpse of the man she first believed in. She was holding on to a version of you that you had already abandoned. And when she finally walks away, she doesn't slam the door. She doesn't scream. She doesn't burn everything down. She disappears. And what's worse, she doesn't look back. Because by the time a woman walks away silently, she's already walked away in her heart 1,000 times. You see, this isn't just about relationships, it's about awareness. It's about the cost of ignoring the people who see you most clearly. Because there is no power in being hard to read. There is no pride in being emotionally distant. That is not masculinity. That is fear dressed as control. And women who have suffered, who have healed, who have learned, they are not waiting for perfect men. They are waiting for present men, men who are real, attuned, aware, men who notice when her laughter fades, men who care enough to ask why. But here's the most brutal truth. Women don't leave because you made a mistake. They leave because you made a pattern. And then you made that pattern her reality. And once she sees that clearly, once she realizes that she deserves more, not because you're terrible, but because you're inattentive, she will find someone else, someone who listens without being prompted, who loves her in real time, not through obligation, who doesn't need to be reminded to appreciate her. She'll move on, and you'll finally understand what you had, not when she's angry, but when she's indifferent. Because when a woman stops noticing you, that's when you'll finally notice her.